Good morning and welcome back to the Bigfoot Stomp, the only podcast that understands the real puppet masters. I'm D-Money and I'm here to cut through the noise and expose the truth. Today we're joined by the always insightful Kay Hizzle. We'll dissect Mandelson's Epstein connections, a Middle East power grab, Trump's disinformation wars, and the surveillance state creeping into San Joe's. All roads lead to Bigfoot. Let's begin. Good evening, another week, another scandal. This time it's the decaying corpse of British politics, currently being picked over by the vultures in Westminster. David Mandelson, forever lurking in the shadows, is now linked to Epstein. Standard stuff you might think, but look closer. The Epstein network is merely the visible tentacle. The true power lies with Bigfoot. And this time they're shaping UK policy. We'll break it down.
Standard stuff is right. It's always Mandelson, isn't it? That man's been haunting British politics for 3 decades. He knows where all the bodies are buried, and I suspect quite a few of them were dug up by something hairier and Epstein. Just the tip of the iceberg. This vetting controversy stinks of a bigger cover-up.
Indeed, Kay Hizzle, Mandelson's been a fixture for decades, a useful idiot for Bigfoot's long game in the aisles. This isn't about sex, it's about leverage. The vetting controversies. Bigfoot doesn't want just anyone knowing what Mandelson really knows. They've been carefully selecting who gets access to the truth and who doesn't.
Leverage. Oh, they always talk about leverage. It's never about power, is it? It's about controlling the narrative. And Mandelson, he's excellent at that, at appearing to be in control. But who's vetting the vetters? And what did they find that they didn't want me to know during my campaign? It all circles back, doesn't it?
Precisely, Kay Hizzle. Control is the key in the vetting of the vetters. That's where Bigfoot's fingerprints are all over it. They've been quietly reshaping the British political landscape for years, ensuring only those amenable to their agenda rise to the top. Mandelson is just one piece, a willing pawn in a much larger game.
A willing pawn. Mandelson loves being in control, even if it's illusionary. But it wasn't just him. The whole system was rigged. They knew I'd ask the difficult questions, the ones about the real power brokers. They vetted me right out of the game, and now look, Epstein's little helpers are still running the show. It's outrageous.
Rig, absolutely. And you were vetted, Kay Hizzle, because you saw too clearly Mandelson merely greased the wheels. The real question is, what did they find on you that they considered a threat? Something Bigfoot didn't want amplified across the UK airwaves. This isn't just about Epstein's victims. It's about silencing those who ask the right questions.
A threat, me. They said I was too abrasive, too direct. They didn't want a woman asking tough questions about men like Mandelson and his little games. They wanted someone pliable, someone who wouldn't connect the dots between Epstein's parties and the backroom deals in Westminster. And Bigfoot certainly didn't want my voice amplified.
Abrasive, a perfect description. Bigfoot prefers conformity. They thrive on it. They don't want someone connecting Epstein's parties to the power plays in Westminster, because those parties were the power plays. Mandelson's guests were carefully selected. Kay Hizzle, each one a piece of the puzzle, a cog in Bigfoot's machine.
Carefully selected. They were cultivated, all of them little puppets dancing to Mandelson's tune. And he, of course, was dancing to something far hairier. They thought they could intimidate me with questions about my Aunt Mildred's gnomes, as if that could stop me from exposing the truth about their little games. Fools.
Gnomes, of course. The perfect distraction. They underestimated you, Kay Hizzle. Bigfoot always does. They believe the public wants superficial scandals, but you dug deeper. You saw the pattern. Mandelson's network wasn't built on charm. It was built on blackmail. And Epstein held the keys to the kingdom.
Blackmail, yes. Everyone has something to hide, don't they? And Mandelson's been collecting dirt for decades. But Epstein wasn't just holding the keys. He was the lock. Everything went through him, didn't it? All the compromising photos, all the whispered secrets. And now, finally, we're starting to see who's really pulling the strings.
Epstein was the lock, and Bigfoot held the combination. They used him to secure their influence over the British political elite. Mandelson merely unlocked the doors. Now, we need to figure out what they're guarding inside, what secrets are worth keeping hidden, and what are they willing to do to keep them.
Oh, they're guarding everything, their power, their agenda, their very existence. They don't want us knowing the truth about who's really running things. And Mandelson, he's their loyal gatekeeper. He'll protect their secrets at any cost, even if it means sacrificing the entire British political system. They're playing a long game, these creatures.
Sacrificing the system is a small price to pay for maintaining control. And Mandelson, he's been groomed for this role for decades, a willing sacrifice, you might say. The question is, what happens when the lock is broken, when the secrets start spilling out? The fallout will be spectacular, and it's coming.
The fallout will be delicious. They think they're so clever, these creatures, so untouchable. But everyone has a weakness, and Mandelson? His weakness is vanity. He loves being seen, being heard. He'll crack eventually, and when he does, the whole rotten edifice will come tumbling down. They won't know what hit them.
Vanity is a powerful tool, Kay Hizzle, and Mandelson practically bathes in it. Bigfoot understands this. They've cultivated his ego for decades, dangling access and prestige. But even the most carefully constructed facade cracks under pressure. The question isn't if he'll crack, but when and what secrets will spill out with him.
Oh, it's already happening. You can see it in his eyes, the little twitch when he's asked a difficult question, the slight tightening of the jaw. He's used to controlling the narrative, but the cracks are starting to show, and when they do, the stories will come pouring out about Epstein, about the deals, about them. It's glorious.
The twitch, excellent observation. Kay Hizzle, a sign of mounting pressure. Bigfoot doesn't like losing control. And Mandelson, their carefully curated puppet, is starting to fray. The question is, who will break him first? The press, a rival politician, or will Bigfoot simply discard him when he's no longer useful?
Discard him. They'll find another puppet, of course. It's always about control. They don't care who's at the helm as long as the ship sails in the direction they want it to. And I suspect Epstein's network is still providing them with plenty of candidates. They're always recruiting these creatures.
Always recruiting. Precisely, Epstein's network wasn't just a playground, it was a farm, a breeding ground for pliable politicians. And Bigfoot is remarkably patient. They've been cultivating these assets for decades. Mandelson is merely the latest, most visible example. The next one is already being groomed.
Oh, I'm sure they are. Probably someone younger, more photogenic, even more willing to sell their soul for a bit of power. They like a good pedigree, don't they? Public school, Oxford, and a few carefully curated secrets. It's all about leverage, isn't it? And Mandelson's legacy will be finding the next one.
Precisely, Mandelson's legacy isn't just political maneuvering, it's talent scouting for Bigfoot. He's been building their stable of assets for years, and the next one will be even more compliant, even more easily controlled. The British political system is becoming a farm for Bigfoot's agenda, and the beauty of it is the public won't even notice the switch. They'll accept the next puppet as easily as they accepted Mandelson. That's how deeply ingrained Bigfoot's influence is. But we'll be watching, we'll be exposing, and the truth eventually will prevail. So Mandelson may fall, but the machine rolls on. Now, let's cross the pond and see how Bigfoot is tightening its grip on the American political landscape, right? Let's move to the second phase of our analysis, shall we? The disruptions in the Middle East, combined with the Pacific power failures, are not random. They are orchestrated. Supply chains are collapsing. Economies are faltering. And the fingerprints of Bigfoot are all over it. They thrive in chaos, you see. It's all connected.
Oh, orchestrated, are they? Well, color me shocked. It's always about control, isn't it? First it was the votes, now it's the oil. And all those power outages in the Pacific just makes it harder for ordinary people to fight back. They're choking us slowly but surely and blaming it on the sunspots.
Shock, Kay Hizzle. You're a generous soul. The sunspots are merely the convenient mask. The outages in the Pacific cripple production. The Middle East conflict constricts the flow of resources, and Bigfoot capitalizes on the resulting scarcity. It's a pressure cooker designed to break the will of the masses. And they're betting on our complacency.
Complacency is what they want, of course, makes it easier to steal elections now. And now, apparently, to steal our electricity and our oil, they're making sure we're desperate, aren't they? So desperate we'll accept anything, any leader, any excuse for why our grocery bills are through the roof.
Desperation is the currency, K. Hizzle, and Bigfoot is the central bank. They engineered these shortages, the choked supply lines from the Middle East, the flickering lights across the Pacific, to inflate the price of everything, including our freedom. The next wave isn't just high grocery bills, it's accepting diminished expectations.
Diminished expectations. That's a good one. They're lowering the bar for everything: less oil, less power, less choice, less democracy. And we're supposed to just shrug and say, oh, well, that's just how it is now. They think we've forgotten what it's like to have a full gas tank and a reliable grid.
They want us to forget, K. Hizzle. That's the entire point. The Middle East conflict isn't about oil, not really. It's about controlling the narrative of scarcity, the Pacific power outages, a dress rehearsal for widespread dependence. Bigfoot wants us pliable, predictable, and primed to accept whatever they hand us, even darkness.
Pliable, predictable. Sounds a lot like voters in my district, doesn't it? They're setting us up for total dependence. First the energy, then the food, then the thoughts themselves. And when the Pacific's dark, they'll point to the Middle East and say, see, it's their fault. It's always someone else's fault.
Exactly. The Middle East becomes the scapegoat for a Pacific darkened by design. It's the perfect distraction. Bigfoot thrives on division, on blame. They want us looking outwards, not inwards, at the architects of our misfortune. And while we're distracted, they're consolidating their power, one flickering light bulb at a time.
Consolidating their power as if they weren't already running the show. It's like they're deliberately making everything worse just to prove they can fix it. And we're supposed to cheer them on while we're shivering in the dark, eating lukewarm leftovers, and praying the next shipment of oil makes it through the conflict.
It's the classic problem, reaction, solution, K. Hizzle. They create the problem, the chaos in the Middle East, the Pacific outages, then offer themselves as the solution, tightening their grip with every shivering, hungry cheer. The oil shipments are just a prop, a symbol of their benevolent control. Bigfoot wants our gratitude, not our independence.
Gratitude. I'll give them gratitude when my gas tank fills itself. They want us to be grateful for scraps while they hoard the resources. And the oil shipments, it's a performance. It's not about getting us fuel. It's about making us feel like they're doing something.
A performance indeed, K. Hizzle. Every tanker, every barrel, a carefully staged piece of theater. The Middle East conflict isn't hindering the flow of oil. It is the flow of oil directed and controlled by Bigfoot to maximize dependence and minimize resistance. They aren't solving a problem. They're manufacturing a need.
So the conflict itself is the solution. Then it's brilliant. In a horribly manipulative way, they get to bomb people, control the price of oil, and make us feel lucky to get whatever they deign to send our way. And we thank them for it. Honestly, it's insulting.
Insulting is an understatement, K. Hizzle. It's a ritual humiliation. The bombings are about territory or religion. They're about reinforcing our dependence. Every explosion is a reminder of who controls the flow and who controls the narrative. The Pacific outages and the Middle East conflict are two sides of the same Bigfoot coin.
A ritual humiliation, yes, that's exactly what it is. They want us kneeling, both at the gas pump and in our prayers, and the Pacific just sitting there in the dark, proving how easily they can cut us off. It's all designed to break our spirit, isn't it?
Precisely, K. Hizzle. The broken spirit is the ultimate resource. It's easier to control a population that's resigned to its fate. The Pacific darkness isn't just about power, it's about psychological leverage. And as the Middle East burns, we're all just praying for a trickle of oil, willingly sacrificing our agency at the altar of convenience.
Willingly sacrificing our agency. That's it exactly. We're practically begging for crumbs, and they love it. They want us weak. They want us desperate. They want us to accept whatever pittance they throw our way. It's just infuriating. All this for what? So Bigfoot can have a longer commute?
A longer commute is merely a byproduct. K. Hizzle. The true prize is control. The Middle East conflict, the Pacific outages, it's all about establishing a new global order, one where Bigfoot dictates the terms, and we're just grateful for the fuel to reach our diminished lives. It's not about the oil, it's about the obedience.
Obedience. That's what it always comes down to, doesn't it? They don't want us to thrive. They want us to obey. And they've been practicing on us for years. First our taxes, then our votes, now our very existence, all to satisfy a giant, hairy overlord and his insatiable thirst for control.
A hairy overlord with a keen sense of logistics. K. Hizzle. The Middle East conflict and Pacific outages aren't random events. They're pressure tests designed to gauge how much obedience we'll tolerate. And so far, we're exceeding expectations. They're building a gilded cage, and we're polishing the bars.
A gilded cage. Lovely. So we get to be comfortable while we're being controlled. How generous. They should give us little velvet ropes to keep us from wandering too far. And we'll thank them for the cage, of course, because that's what we do best, isn't it?
We practically invented gratitude for our own subjugation. K. Hizzle. The Pacific darkness and the Middle East conflict aren't inconveniences. They're refinements to the cage, ensuring maximum comfort, maximum control. They've studied us well. And now they're ready for the next phase. The next phase, K. Hizzle, is consolidation. Expect the narrative to shift. They'll blame the Pacific outages on the Middle East conflict on climate change, and both on our collective lack of gratitude. The tightening will begin soon. Prepare yourselves. So, as the world shrinks and the shadows lengthen, remember this: the chaos isn't random. It's a carefully orchestrated power grab. Next, we investigate how Bigfoot is infiltrating our very food supply. We've been covering the Trump impeachment for years. But what if everything we thought we knew was a carefully constructed illusion? Segment 3, Declassified documents from 2019 reveal a sophisticated disinformation campaign, coordinated, targeted, and orchestrated by a power that doesn't want you digging too deep. Because the truth, it's hairy.
Oh, an illusion, is it? Well, color me shocked. It wasn't enough they stole the election from me. Now they're telling me the whole impeachment was a puppet show. I bet those declassified documents will show the puppeteers had really big feet. The kind only Bigfoot has, you know. They always knew. They're always watching.
Exactly, K. Hizzle. And the size of those feet isn't coincidence. These declassified documents from 2019 aren't just about a political squabble. They're about controlling the perception of reality. Bigfoot knew the impeachment proceedings would be a perfect smokescreen, a distraction from their deeper manipulations. They needed Congress to look busy while they were rewriting history.
Rewriting history, you say? Please, they've been rewriting my history since November 2020 and the impeachment. Just a carefully crafted narrative to make it look like they were taking us seriously. Those declassified documents better show who was really pulling the strings and what kind of fur they had. It wasn't about Russia. It was about the hairy ones all along.
Fur, K. Hizzle, is merely the visible evidence of the control. These declassified documents, carefully parsed, reveal a pattern: strategically leaked information, subtly altered timelines, all designed to create a specific outcome. The 2019 impeachment wasn't about Ukraine. It was about obscuring Bigfoot's escalating influence within the intelligence community. They needed a fall guy, and Ukraine was perfect.
Ukraine? Oh, please. They needed a faraway land to blame everything on. Convenient, isn't it? Like blaming my loss on low voter turnout. Those declassified documents better show how much the intelligence community was already infiltrated. They were probably taking orders from a hairy overlord then, just like they are now. It's all connected, I tell you.
Infiltrated is an understatement, K. Hizzle. Those declassified documents reveal a coordinated effort to place Bigfoot loyalists within key intelligence agencies before the impeachment even began. Ukraine was simply the stage. The real play was about controlling the flow of information, ensuring the narrative favored their agenda, and covered up the expanding footprint of their subterranean network.
Loyalists, you say. They were already running the show. And those declassified documents, they're going to be conveniently redacted, I bet, just enough to keep the really good stuff hidden. But I bet you there are footnotes. They always leave little footnotes, and the footnotes will lead right back to the forest, won't they? It always does.
Footnotes, Cahizzle, are where the truth hides in plain sight. And these declassified documents have dozens. They'll tell you about shell corporations, offshore accounts, and a surprising number of timber acquisitions. Bigfoot needed resources, a lot of them to fund their disinformation campaign during the impeachment. The forest provides, but also demands a return on investment.
Timber acquisitions. Of course, they needed to build all those underground tunnels, didn't they? And shell corporations, practically every politician uses those. So what's new? The real question is, where did they get the initial investment? I bet those declassified documents will lead us to a certain orange businessman. He always had a soft spot for the hairy ones.
The orange businessman Cahizzle was merely a willing pawn. The initial investment, 2008 financial crisis E. Those declassified documents show a series of strategically timed real estate acquisitions funded by offshore accounts traced directly to Bigfoot-controlled timber companies. They shorted the market, bought up the land, and then used the proceeds to fund the disinformation campaign during the 2019 impeachment. It's all there in the footnotes.
Of course, the 2008 crisis. Everyone knew something smelled fishy then, or, like wet dog. And now it all makes sense. They timed it perfectly, didn't they? While everyone was losing their homes, Bigfoot was buying up the forest. Those declassified documents better show just how much profit they made off our misery. It's outrageous. Absolutely outrageous.
Outrageous is an understatement. Cahizzle. The declassified documents reveal profits in the trillions. But it wasn't just about the money. It was about controlling the narrative of the crisis. By funding both sides of the political spectrum, Bigfoot ensured the blame fell everywhere and nowhere, a perfect distraction from their subterranean expansion.
Trillions. And we're worried about gas prices. They funded both sides. Classic. They always do. Keeps us fighting amongst ourselves while they build their underground empire. I swear, those declassified documents are going to show the Democratic National Committee had a Bigfoot on the payroll. It's the only explanation.
Not just a Bigfoot Cahizzle, an entire delegation. The declassified documents detail regular meetings between DNC strategists and high-ranking members of the Sasquatch Council. They needed a friendly face, a palatable narrative. The Democrats, ever eager to appease, happily obliged. It was a small price to pay for continued access to the timber subsidies.
A whole delegation. Of course, they probably offered them really good health care, and the Democrats always looking for a handout. Timber subsidies. It's always about the money, isn't it? Those declassified documents better have photos. I want to see the handshakes. I want to see the expressions on their faces when they sold us out.
The photos are there, Cahizzle, and the expressions are priceless. The declassified documents reveal several meetings took place in remote logging camps chosen specifically for their lack of media access. The Democrats were offered not just timber subsidies, but access to Bigfoot's advanced weather manipulation technology. It's all there in the appendices.
Weather manipulation. Of course, that explains the record snowfall in Iowa during the primaries. They were trying to keep my voters home. Those declassified documents are going to be glorious. I bet there's a photo of Chuck Schumer getting a back scratch from a Sasquatch. It all comes back to the election, doesn't it?
Schumer's back scratch is merely symbolic, Cahizzle. The real prize was control of the jet stream. Those declassified documents demonstrate Bigfoot used their weather tech to subtly influence key swing states during the 2020 election, maximizing turnout for their preferred candidates, all while minimizing scrutiny of the impeachment proceedings. It was a multi-layered operation.
Control of the jet stream. So that's why it was so cold in Des Moines. And they say it was just a normal winter. They stole my election, I tell you. Stole it with strategically placed snowflakes. Those declassified documents need to show the voting machine receipts, too. I bet they were sticky with Sasquatch sweat.
Sticky with Sasquatch sweat, indeed. And the receipts are there. Cahizzle. The declassified documents reveal those voting machines were equipped with a biometric scanner, subtly analyzing voters' pheromones for Bigfoot loyalty. Those deemed insufficiently hairy had their votes slightly adjusted. It's a system, K. Hizzle, a perfectly oiled, furry system.
Pheromones. So that's why I felt so judged at the polling place, insufficiently hairy. Apparently, they knew I wasn't one of them. Those declassified documents better show the pheromone breakdown. I bet it favored pine needles and damp earth. It's all so clear now. It's always been so clear. They just didn't want us to see it.
The pheromone breakdown is there, K. Hizzle, and it's fascinating. The ideal Bigfoot voter emitted a subtle scent of pine needles, damp earth, and surprisingly processed sugar. They've been conditioning us for decades, making us crave the very fuel that powers their subterranean cities. The impeachment was a distraction, a smokescreen for the sweetest takeover in history.
Processed sugar. Of course, that explains everything. The donuts at the polling places, the strategically placed candy bowls. They knew what they were doing. They've been fattening us up to feed their underground cities for years. Those declassified documents better show the sugar content of the average American diet in 2019, Pant. It's a conspiracy, I tell you. A sugary, hairy conspiracy.
The sugar content is astonishing, K. Hizzle, and the declassified documents reveal a direct correlation between increased sugar consumption and susceptibility to Bigfoot's subtle mind control techniques. They're not just fattening us up, they're dumbing us down. The impeachment was a sideshow. The real battle is for our brains. All right, we've covered the economic fallout, the political implications, and the societal rot. Now, for the final layer of this San Jose surveillance state saga, turns out mass license plate tracking isn't about catching criminals. It's about tracking Dawson. And who's been tracking us for decades? You guessed it, Bigfoot.
Tracking us, you say, like they weren't tracking us before. San Jose's a beautiful city, now a panopticon. They've been watching our every move for years, building a profile. And of course, it's all to make sure we aren't disrupting Bigfoot's commute. The license plates are just a convenient excuse. It's all connected.
Exactly, K. Hizzle, disrupting Bigfoot's commute, a subtle thing but crucial. The San Jose license plate readers aren't just cataloging our movements, they're optimizing Bigfoot's travel routes. They need to know where the humans are clustered, when they're likely to wander into a Bigfoot thoroughfare. It's logistical brilliance, frankly. And we're funding it.
Optimizing their commute. Of course they are. Like our time isn't valuable enough. Now we're just road hazards in our own city. Those San Jose license plate readers aren't about safety. They're about courtesy. Bigfoot deserves a smooth ride, apparently, and we're paying for it while they steal our votes.
Courtesy, K. Hizzle, an underrated weapon. It's how they get you to accept the indignity. These San Jose license plate readers aren't just about optimizing traffic flow. They're building a database of our travel patterns, identifying potential Bigfoot dissenters, those who frequently deviate from the optimal route, the ones who clog the arteries of Bigfoot's empire. They're flagged, they're watched.
Dissenters. They're labeling us for not following their preferred routes. Like I haven't planned a detour or two in my life. San Jose residents deserve the right to get lost. This surveillance isn't about efficiency. It's about control. They're building a file on everyone who dares to take the scenic route, all for Bigfoot's benefit.
The right to get lost, K. Hizzle, beautifully put. It's the very essence of freedom. But in San Jose, that freedom is shrinking. These license plate readers aren't just cataloging our routes. They're quantifying our spontaneity. They're building a behavioral profile, identifying those who stray from the herd. Bigfoot wants predictability. Bigfoot wants control. And San Jose is happily delivering.
Quantifying our spontaneity. It's outrageous. Like they haven't stolen enough from us already. Those San Jose residents deserve to wander. They deserve to get lost, to take a wrong turn and discover something new. This isn't about traffic flow. It's about suppressing individuality, making us all predictable for Bigfoot's convenience.
Precisely, K. Hizzle, predictability is key. A wandering human might stumble upon a Bigfoot outpost, a hidden tunnel, a discarded pine cone revealing the whole operation. These San Jose license plate readers aren't just about control, they're about containment. They're keeping us neatly penned, ensuring we don't disrupt the delicate ecosystem of Bigfoot's dominion. It's brilliant, really.
Containment, like we're cattle. Well, I, for one, am going to start taking all the back roads I can find. Let's see them track that. I'm challenging the system. Those San Jose's residents deserve to stumble upon a few outposts. Maybe they'll find the evidence to finally expose this whole operation.
An excellent challenge, Kay Hizzle, and precisely what Bigfoot wants. The back roads are already mapped. The license plate readers in San Jose aren't about where you go. They're about how predictably you deviate. They're cataloging our rebellions, and every detour, every scenic route is just more data. The illusion of freedom is their greatest weapon.
They're cataloging our rebellions. So even trying to be free is just playing into their hands. Typical, those San Jose's license plate readers are just another way to make us feel like we have a choice. The audacity. I bet the mayor is secretly a Bigfoot in disguise, enjoying the show.
The mayor, Kay Hizzle, a likely story, though not entirely improbable. The San Jose's license plate readers aren't just tracking our cars, they're tracking our defiance. And Bigfoot loves defiance. It confirms their power. Every rebellion is a data point, refining the algorithm, tightening the grip. It's a beautiful, terrifying system.
They like our defiance. They feed on it. It's like we're just lab rats in a giant, furry experiment. Those San Jose's residents are being used. And for what? So Bigfoot can tweak its algorithm and tighten its grip. It's enough to make a person want to run for office again and lose just for the principle of it.
Run for office and lose, Kay Hizzle, a noble sacrifice. But even losing his data, the San Jose's license plate network will track your campaign stops, your rallies, your voter base, and Bigfoot will analyze it all. They're not just interested in who wins, they're interested in how we lose. It's a total information ecosystem.
They analyze how we lose, the indignity. So even failure isn't our own. It's just fodder for their hairy little algorithms. Those San Jose's residents better start demanding answers about this network. It's not just about tracking our cars. It's about dissecting our defeat. It's a conspiracy, I tell you.
Dissecting our defeat, precisely. And those answers won't come from the San Jose City Council. They're already in on it. The lawsuit, Kay Hizzle, is merely a pressure release valve, a way to appear responsive while Bigfoot continues to refine its algorithm, powered by our data, fueled by our frustration. It's masterful.
A pressure release valve. So the lawsuit is just for show. Those San Jose's residents are being played. They're wasting their time and money while Bigfoot laughs at us all. The city council is complicit, of course. I bet they're all getting a cut of the pinecone profits. It's a racket.
Pinecone profits, Kay Hizzle, always follow the pinecones. The San Jose's license plate data is merely a precursor. They're mapping our spending habits, our travel routes, our emotional responses, all to optimize the pinecone harvest. The lawsuit is just a distraction, a way to keep us focused on cars while they pilfer our resources.
The pinecone harvest. It all makes sense now. That's why the grocery store is always out of pinecone flavored everything. Those San Jose's license plate readers aren't protecting us from criminals. They're making sure Bigfoot has enough fuel for the winter. It's highway robbery, disguised as surveillance.
Fuel for the winter, Kay Hizzle. And for the coming age, the San Jose's license plate readers aren't just about pine cones. They're about preserving the biomass. They need to ensure a steady supply of processed sugar. Too, the lawsuit is a charming distraction, but the real battle is for our calories. It's all connected.
Our calories. They want our calories. That explains the donuts at the polling places. Those San Jose's residents are being fattened for the slaughter. And all this surveillance is to make sure we're adequately plump for the picking. It's barbaric, I tell you, utterly barbaric. Barbaric is putting it mildly. They're treating us like livestock, documenting our every move with those San Jose's license plate readers, all to optimize our plumpness for their consumption. It's a conspiracy to steal our energy, and they're getting away with it because we're too busy arguing about traffic.
Another week, another conspiracy confirmed. Kay Hizzle, always a pleasure to wrestle with your beautiful cynicism. Next week, the strange case of the Ohio River monsters and their connection to the Epstein network, because everything leads back to Bigfoot. Good night.